and welcome to my North Knit Corner. My name is Anne and I come to you from the south of Norway. Here I live with my husband and our 3 boys. Welcome if you have been here before and welcome if you're here for the first time. I am so looking forward to talking about knitting with you today. And I really appreciate that you are here and that you want to sit down and spend some time with me. I have information about everything I talk about in the description box below this episode. And of course, I will have timestamps on the episode as I always have. So I hope that is helpful for you. And no reason to chit chat. Let's just get started with the knitting. My first FO today, I am so happy it's done. I was a little bit tired of it, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. And it's the Virginia top by Joji Locatelli, which I am wearing today. And it was a relief to finish this. I have been working on it for almost 2 months, and I know that's not a long time, but it felt like it took forever. It's a knit that I at least have to really pay attention to. And yeah, so it took some time. It's a beautiful lace pattern on this vest or top or whatever you call it, both in front and in the back, and it's just a lot to pay attention to. So and it's thin needles. It's on 2.5 and 2.75 millimeter needles, US 1.5 and 2. I've knitted with the most beautiful hand-dyed yarn from Selena in Through the Wardrobe yarn. She is an amazing hand dyer, which I love all of her colors. But this is the color Lyra's Oxford. I have knitted the size 1, but that's because of gauge. I should have knitted the size 3 according to the measurements, but ended up on size 1, and I think it fits me very nice. I think it's perfect. It's not so long. It's quite cropped, which I'm happy with. I often tend to knit things a bit too long, at least when I'm thinking that I'm going to wear it over a shirt or a blouse over a dress, and then I knit it too long and then it doesn't look too good. But this time I followed the pattern and did exactly as Joji said, and I think it turned out good. It weighs 122 grams, so I used less than 2 skeins for this. This yarn is fingering weight. It's I think it's 75-25 base, so a sock yarn. And yeah, I'm just so happy with how it turned out. It was almost done last time. I only had the I-cord left for the neck and the armholes. Yeah, and I highly recommend the pattern. The pattern is wonderful. It's just that my head hasn't been yeah, I have been all over the place in my head recently, so it's been a bit hard to do things that takes a lot of attention, but a little bit at a time, and in the end I'm very happy that I knit it because I think it looks really nice. So I think I mostly will wear it like this over a shirt or over a blouse. Yeah, and of course I can use it in the summer as a summer top. We'll see. But it's done. I'm happy. I used a Turkish cast on this instead of a provisional cast on, which was written in the pattern. And I think that was very easy. I can link a tutorial below if you're interested. It's very easy. You just, instead of provisional cast on, which you often do with a crochet hook, you just take your needle and maybe a barber cord or yeah, something like that. And you just wrap the yarn around. You don't do anything fussy, and then you start to knit in the one side of the cast on, and then you have the other one waiting for you when you're ready to start the other side. And the Turkish cast on was on the top of the shoulder here, so you cast on and then you knit the back first, I think, and then you do the front. And I don't think you can see that there is I have knitted first the back and then the front. There's no seaming or nothing. It was very seamless. Yes. So that is just a tip. If you don't want to do the provisional cast on, you can do a Turkish cast on. My next FO today is this sweater from Filcolana. It's the Sally by Sanne Bjerregård. It's a free pattern on Filcolana's webpage. Highly recommend. It has this beautiful lace in the neck, and then it's just smooth sailing, all stockinette, no fuss at all. After the lace, you increase really rapidly for around, and then you get this poof in front, and then you just knit. You decrease a little bit before you knit the ribbing. And on the arms, you just knit straight down too, so you get balloon sleeves because you decrease quite heavily before the ribbing on the sleeves. So I think it's a very classic, nice looking blouse. I've knitted this in Drops Alpaca in the color 8903, which is black, together with Drops Kid Silk in the color number 2, which is also black. So it's supposed to be knit in 2 strands of silk mohair. I chose the alpaca because I didn't want it to be so see-through. And I often find several strands of mohair to be very warm. But I think this is going to be a warm sweater as well, but I like the fabric. But sometime, if I get around to it, I really want to knit this in another color and maybe in 2 strands of silk mohair to get the more blousy effect. This is a little bit thicker, so it's more like a sweater, but I think it's going to be a very versatile, good piece to have in my wardrobe for different occasions. It's very nice in the back. It's like open in the back, and I have sewed on some pearls to use for buttons. It annoys me because they are crooked. Is that right? They are not straight, and it annoys me a little bit, but we'll see if I do something about it. Yeah, so that's the Sally. I've knitted the size small on needles 3 and 4.5 millimeters, US 2.5 and 7. It weighs 317 grams. I also finished a hat, the Musselburgh hat, which I'm sure you've heard of many times. It's a great pattern from Isolde Teague. One of my favorite hat patterns. I've knitted this in a sock yarn from Stulenstrikk, Norwegian hand dyer, in the color Strandlek, beach play in English. But I think these are really fallish colors. I think they are perfect for this time of the year. This hat is knitted in the size adult medium. I've knitted on the 2.5mm needles, US 1.5. It weighs 89 grams because I tried to use up a whole skein of yarn. It was the normal 100 grams, 400 meters stock yarn. It's of course a tube, as most of you probably know. You just cast on, you increase, you knit for a long time, and then you decrease. And then you put one side into the other. You can see that it's a little bit darker and then it goes light. I like the darkest side the most, so I put the light side inside so I can use that as a brim. Because I like to fold it up. This is not for me. I think maybe one of my boys can have this hat, or I can gift it to someone else. I just really wanted to use this beautiful yarn in something other than socks. So it turned into this hat instead. I really love the Musselburgh hat. It's so great for all different types of yarn and gauges, and yeah, it allows beautiful hand-dyed yarn to shine, and it's double, so, and even when I fold it up, it even gets a thicker layer. So a great hat pattern, which I'm sure you heard about 1,000 times. And I will knit this again, of course. I will always have a Musselburgh hat ready for gifts and stuff like that. And I also love to wear my Musselburgh hats. I decided to cast on something yesterday. That wasn't my plan, but it was a quick knit because, as I've talked about in episodes before, I am participating in something we call Lappestafetten, the square relay. I think is the best way to translate that. We are over 30 Norwegian knitting podcasters who's all going to design a little square, and they are free on Ravelry. And I of course will link it below, because all of the patterns are on the same page. So when you download one square, all the others will come as an update in your library. If you're interested in knitting them, they are of course in Norwegian, but most of them come with charts and is easy to translate, I think. And this is, we do it as a knit along. So the podcaster that has the square for the month hosts a little knit along, and people are not only podcasters, but a lot of other knitting friends out there are also participating. So it's a lot of fun. I'm knitting a blanket, and this is the square for October. Oh, it's the wrong way. And the podcaster for this month is a very nice lady called Susanne. She has the podcast Susannes strikkehule. It's in Norwegian, but if you understand Norwegian, I recommend. And this is called the strikkehule lapp. Strikkehule in English is knitting cave square. Yeah, I've knitted in Rauma Finull on needles 3.5mm, which is US 4. I used 16.5 grams of yarn, and I've knitted it in this light pink melange. That is my square for the month. I have 4 whips to talk about today, and we can start with the one that was on the needles in my last episode as well. And it is a pair of socks. It's the Julemorgen sokker, Christmas morning socks by Vivian Aas. She's a Norwegian designer, and I'm sorry to say this is only in Norwegian. It's a very nice sock pattern which has 4 different charts for color work and 2 charts for structure pattern, yeah. That you can have on the foot of the sock, and I will show you. This is the ones I'm knitting on now. It has this reindeer on them. Last time I had finished a pair of socks with hearts, and then there are cables. Sorry for the interruption. My son, 16-year-old son, came home. His math teacher was sick, so he got some hours off school. So he came home. But let's continue. Where was I? I was talking about these reindeer socks. I'm knitting with the yarn Viking Norweigan. It is 800 white, and the color number for the brown is 819. Norweigan is 40% wool, 40% acrylic, and 20% nylon. It's very nice to knit with, but I am wondering how they will feel on the feet, because acrylic can often be very sticky or warm. But we'll see. It's a very nice yarn to knit with anyway. I tried a new heel this time. In the pattern there's this reinforced heel, but I wanted something that's a little bit easier, faster to knit, because I think the heel flapping gusset is taking forever to knit when you're doing all the decreases. So I did the shadow wrap heel. I think maybe I've done it once before, but it was very easy and fast, and I learned it. The heel flapping gusset, I always need to have a pattern or a tutorial, something to remember, but this shadow wrap heel I learned so fast, and I still remember how to do it. If it will focus. No. Doesn't want to focus, but it's a shadow wrap heel. So I'm happy with how that turned out. There's no holes, which I appreciate. It looks a little bit big, maybe. Maybe I chose too many stitches for the back of the foot. But that is just something to learn and figure out, because since this wasn't the heel in the pattern, then I had to think about how many stitches I needed for the heel myself. But I think maybe I could have used a little bit or fewer stitches for the heel, but we live and we learn. So this is what I am knitting on, and I will continue to use this pattern since it's so many different charts to choose from. I will knit up all of this yarn in socks, so I will start on another one. When this is done, this is for me in the size 40, but I will knit some Christmas gifts as well, I think, with this pattern. Then I have another project in this very pink little bag, because it's October, and I think worldwide in October we all have this pink ribbon month, which is awareness month for breast cancer. And here in Norway we have one Norwegian podcaster who is amazing. She every year hosts a knit along to raise money for research for breast cancer. And everything is about knitting in pink, and you can join the knit along, and when you join the knit along you also give a little amount to the fundraiser, which is a wonderful way to raise money and join as a knitting community for a very important cause. So I needed a pink bag, of course, for the pink month. And in here I have a little scarf called the Hope Scarf. It's a design by Hettestrikk, Elisabeth Gigones. This pattern is also in English. If you go into her or into Ravelry, I will link the pattern below. When you come on the pattern page, you can't buy the pattern there because of some fundraising rules that are here in Norway, because all of the proceeds of this pattern goes to the fundraiser. So she has the pattern on her website. You can buy it there, but when October is over, if you want to have it in your Ravelry library, you can just send her an email and she will put it in there for you. I am knitting in this plum color. This is from Myrul Microfargerie, together with Sandnes Tynn Silk Mohair in the color Lilac, I think. 5023. So those two together. Here is the scarf so far. Let me just untangle. It is really fussy with the silk mohair, and you see the silk mohair since it's so light, it takes over the yarn, but I like how it looks. And of course I had to match with my needle or stitch stoppers. It's a very nice pattern. It's only charted, so it's not written instructions, it's only a chart. So for me that is not always the best. I really like written instructions when my head is not computing, but I take one row at a time, so it's okay. And it's a very easy pattern. She says in the pattern that you can use it as a social knit, but I can't do that because I need the chart at all times. But that's okay. I can use this as my home knitting when I have time to pay attention and I have something else for out and about knitting. So I'm knitting this on needles 3.5 again, US4, my favorite needles, and I'm just enjoying this. So this is my contribution for this pink ribbon knit along. As I told you last time, in my Yarnjoy and Plans section, I am going to knit, or I have started to knit, a Celeste sweater for my husband. Celeste Sweater Man by Petite Knit. This pattern is just so fun. I just love the Celeste sweater pattern. The color work is so fun, and I think it looks great with all different colors. And when I started to knit on this, I just had to knit it. I knit all the color work in just a few hours because it's just so addicting. Here is my start. And I also knitted the sleeves on this, so it's only the body left. And I have knitted this in Sandnes Smart and Sandnes Per Gynt. The main color is Sandnes Smart in the color 1042 Grey. The colors I have used two contrast colors in Sandnes Smart. It's the 6324 blue heather, 9572 dark green heather, and then I have used two in Sandnes Peer Gynt. It's 2564 golden brown, 6364 blue. And I think they look so autonomous, that's a hard word. Yeah, fall-like. And yeah, I really like how it's turning out, and I can't wait to give this to him for Christmas. Yeah, just super fun, beautiful colorwork yoke, and it goes by so fast. Like I said, it's really addicting, and I hope I can knit this pattern again sometime. I've knitted one for myself, but I could absolutely knit this again if anyone wants. Anyone in my sphere wants to have this, I will happily knit it for them. So that is just straight stockinette heaven right now, which is wonderful. My last work in progress this time is a Christmas sweater for myself. It's not actually a Christmas sweater, I think, because it's called Spring of Love. It's by a Norwegian designer called Il Karina. She has this pattern in English as well, if you like it. And I don't think she's intended this to be a Christmas sweater, but when I saw it in green and white, I immediately thought that it looked like a Christmas sweater. So I'm knitting my sweater in beautiful hand-dyed yarn from Moba's hand-dyed. This beautiful green, different shades. Yeah. And Sunny Sunday in the white, and the color for this is 1001. And I will show you how it looks so far. I'm done with the color work. So what do you think? Do you get the Christmas vibes when you look at this, or spring vibes? I don't know. I think it looks very Christmassy. And I like how the hand-dyed yarn turned in like stripy on the neckline. I'm knitting the size 2 on needles 3, 3.5 and 4 millimeters, US 2.5, 4 and 6. This color work was also very fun. It's a little bit more engaging than the Celeste. You have to think a little bit more, but still very fun. It is very wobbly. It's not so easy to get it very, what can I say, nice looking, this color work. It's not a lot of long floats. It's just a few places that I've catched my floats. Mostly I didn't have to. But still, it's not easy to knit loose enough, even though I knitted on bigger needles to not get it too tight. But I think it's okay. I think it will block out. But it's harder to knit with fingering yarn, I think, for color work than with really thick woolly wool like Peer Gynt, for example. That is more forgiving to knit with than thin yarn. But that's okay. I think it will be okay when I wash it. And I like this high neck on this sweater. It was a little bit different. You knit twisted rib, and then after a little while you do some purl bumps in the middle. You can see the purl bumps here. And then a little bit more ribbing. And the short row ropes are also in the ribbing. I've never done short ropes in the ribbing before, I think, but that was very nice to do. So I haven't tried it on yet, so I'm a little bit excited to see if it fits me. I think it will. I am on gauge, which I'm really happy about. That's not often I am on gauge. So it should be fine. And now I'm just going to knit this, I think, on the body, and then I will start on the sleeves to finish the sleeves. I think, if I'm not remembering wrong, that there might be some color work on the sleeves as well. So, something to look forward to. It's time for a summary of September, since it is the first episode in October. And let's say there was some yarn purchasing in September. But when I went into September, I was still on the negative side, so that means I knitted up more than I have got in. And in September, I knitted up 1,724.5 grams of yarn. I knitted some sweaters, or finished some sweaters, some socks, and some other small things. So that's a nice amount of yarn out of my stash. But I did acquire a lot of yarn in September, 2,550 grams of yarn. Yes, so I'm still on the negative side. I have now knitted up 471.7 gram more than I have acquired this year, which is nice, but I'm slowly going into the positive side. Let's think about that. So I have maybe acquired some more yarn since last time. We'll see. But I have a plan for everything, and this is just for fun, just to see if I can knit up more than I get in. But I have done good so far, and we'll see if I manage to keep it on the negative side or if I will acquire more yarn this year. Yes, but yeah, let's see. Have I had any Yarnjoy in October? So one of my friends who also knits invited me last week to go with her to a yarn shop that I've never been to before. It's in Kristiansand, which is about 40 minutes away. And I've heard so many good things about this store, so I really wanted to join. And of course, some yarn came with me home. I have some footage, I think, so I can put in here. They have so many different brands. They have the Sandnes, Rauma, Vikingarn. They have Knitting for Olive. They have drops. They have yeah, other brands as well. I think they have Permin and many more. It was almost overwhelming to get into this store. It was so much yarn, but that's fun. And I think I have to go back there when I've knitted up some more things, because I saw many yarns that I really want to try. But I have a sweater that is coming out in November, I think, that I really want to knit for Christmas as well. And that is the sweater from Annie Knits, Anina. She has a Christmas sweater coming out in November, and it's amazing. I love it. So I want to knit it, and I tried to figure out, I know she used Drop Stacy for her sample, and I really wanted to have the same colors, and I couldn't find the color numbers she used, but I just looked at the picture and I got some help from my friend to figure out what colors that might be. So I've chosen these 3 colors for my sweater. Drops Daisy is a fairly new yarn and I have never tried it before. It's 100% extra fine merino wool. It's not superwash, I think. 110 meters on 50 grams, so a DK weight. So I've chosen the white, that's number 1, and then this petrol kind of color, bluey green, number 18, and then the red is number 21. So I'm very excited to knit this sweater. I will start on it as soon as it comes out. I'm ready. And I have this list on my phone with many different projects that I am wanting to knit. And with the yarn and yardages I need to knit those projects. So I'm always ready if I come over some yarn that I can use. So I wanted to knit the Lulu slipover. I know that was not on my fall plans at all, but suddenly I got the urge, and when the inspiration strikes, you know, you just have to follow along. So I bought some yarn from the Lulu for the Lulu slipover by Petite Knit. I bought Sandnes Tynn Pergint in the color 3800. And the Sandnes Alpaca Følgetråd in the color 3161. So these two is going to be my Lulu slipover. I also bought buttons, but I don't know where I put them. But I will find them when I will start on this. Hopefully I can start on this soon, because I'm very excited to have this slipover too. And since I like to knit socks, I also bought some Drops Fabel print with me home. In the color 602. So this will become some fun socks eventually. So as you see, I've acquired some more yarn, so we'll see how my summary will go for October. But so far, so good. But it's a lot of fun to have the opportunity to enjoy so much beautiful yarn and also knit with it eventually. That is today's episode. Thank you so much to all of you for being here. I appreciate you so much. And this gives me so much joy to talk to you about knitting. I spend a lot of my days knitting, a lot of hours knitting, and it's my therapy and it's my joy. And I use my head, I learn so much. So yeah, and then I get to enjoy so many beautiful knitting and podcasters out there who inspire me all the time. So yeah, this is just so much fun. So thank you so much for all the wonderful comments that you leave me. I always get so encouraged by you, and for the thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed but you would like to, I would so much appreciate if you would do that, so I can hopefully reach more people who love knitting as much as I do. So if you would like to subscribe, I would really appreciate that. I hope you are well and that you are knitting on something fun, or maybe you're crocheting or sewing or something else. And I just wish you good days until I talk to you all again. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye.